Hello, Hortonville Area School District parents and community members. It's my pleasure here as we enter into the middle of September to welcome you back to school for the 2023-2024 academic year. I'm Todd Tim, District Administrator of the Hortonville Area School District, and we are excited as we enter into our first couple weeks of this school year and greatly appreciate the partnerships that we've developed with our parent community and the community at large here in the Hortonville Area School District. Each year we like to give a brief summary during our welcome back to our community and parents about the impact of the state budget here on our staff, students, and the community in the Hortonville Area School District. The state of Wisconsin has a 2-year budget process. The state recently entered into a new 2-year state budget, and a portion of that budget obviously is resources for school districts, both private and public, in the state of Wisconsin. The Hortonville Area School District is what is considered a low revenue district, which means the district receives a per pupil allocation that is at the lowest amount in the state of Wisconsin. Last year that amount was $10,000 per pupil. There's other public districts in the state that receive upwards above $20,000 per pupil, but about 25% of the school districts in Wisconsin are much like the Hortonville Area School District, where we receive a low revenue or the lowest revenue per pupil in the state. In this last 2-year state budget, the legislature and governor came to consensus on a $325 increase for all school districts in the state, no matter if they were low revenue districts or above per pupil allocation in the state formula for schools. But within that, they also gave permission or had a piece of legislation or some narrative in there that would allow low revenue districts like the Hortonville Area School District to bump from $10,000 to $11,000 per pupil. So about 25% of the districts would be in that category. The state also increased special education reimbursement from about 30% to 33%. In no way does that pay for the resources that we provide for our students with disabilities, both emotional disabilities and physical disabilities. And in the Hortonville Area School District, we've seen a large increase in the need for resources for our students that both have physical disabilities and emotional or learning disabilities. No increase above the grant amount for mental health. And there was a large increase for our private school neighbors in voucher revenue, so about a 20% increase. So now for a high school student here at Hortonville High School, we'd receive about $11,000 per high school student, where private school partners are able to raise about $12,500 per those students of public tax dollars. Those aren't on your property tax bill. Generally on your property tax bill, you see your municipal taxes. You may see something for garbage pickup and some other pieces that your municipality provides. You see Fox Valley Technical College and the resources that are dedicated to Fox Valley Technical College. And then you see the resources that are dedicated to the Hortonville Area School District if you reside within our boundaries. The district then provides those resources and vouchers to our private school neighbors, and they're not identified on the property tax bill. The district provides also transportation to our private school partners for before and after school care, and we've partnered with our private school neighbors for field trip transportation. So yes, there's some additional resources that we're able to use to retain staff in this 2-year state budget, which we're greatly appreciative of, but also still receive the lowest allocation in Wisconsin per pupil, including lower allocations than our private school partners who are receiving vouchers. We get asked frequently about the history of the voucher expense in the district. So this is just a chart that shows the public tax dollars allocated to private schools that reside in the district and that are just outside the district that were responsible for a particular voucher expense. I know in 2015, 2016, that number was at 146,000. 16, 17 about 147.8, and 17, 18 172. And then you can follow along to see the additional resources that were required by legislation to pay out in those vouchers. Again, to private school neighbors inside the district and ones just outside the district. This slide depicts the mill rate history of residents in the Hortonville Area School District from 1994 to 2023. Those lines that are blocked obviously are 2018 at $8.24, 2019 $8.10, 2020, 2021 at $8, 2022 at $6.61, and 2023 at $6.60. And we anticipate a relatively stable mill rate for this next year. It gives residents just the information over time, the general decline of the mill rate in the district. Some of that has to do with state budget legislation. Some of that has to do with revenue caps from the mid-1990s. Some of that has to do with property valuation increases, not just the properties that have been in the district and developed since 1994, but new property valuation added to the district since that time. And some of that, there's some expanded referendum pieces in there that would include defeasance that the district, especially recently, has practiced, which means prepaying debt to ensure that in the future, as we continue to grow, expansion has a limited to no impact on the property taxpayer. So the district in that most recent referendum to add space to GMS and HHS in 2021, we still saw a mill rate drop with a very low interest rate on that debt that we're currently defeasing, meaning prepaying that debt. One, to be fiscally responsible and accountable to our taxpayers, and two, as we continue to grow, we don't want to ask for space too early because we want to be responsible with those conversations and decisions. But as we continue to grow, additional space to house our students in the district. Other summer legislation that we just want our residents to be aware of outside of the two-year state budget, which is legislation passed this summer, is Act 20. Act 20 is going to have impact on the school district over the next several years, and how all school districts in Wisconsin teach literacy and reading. So there's different committee requirements. There's a shift in instructional strategy requirements. There's a shift with parental notification and intervention for children, especially early education children up to third grade. Probably the two most important data indicators on the success of a child is reading at grade level by third grade, and then of course is a child able to graduate with career skills or college skills to move to the next phase in life. So this is just some brief information on the district impact of Act 20 and changes in literacy for our school district and all schools in Wisconsin. And there'll be more information as we transition over the next couple of years because there's dates of implementation designated by the state. This is some basic information with regards to Act 20, but there'll be additional information from the district coming home to our parents about this transition as well. Just another piece of Act 20 that there's screening elements or assessment elements, which we already screen and assess obviously our children and their reading levels, but there's some different assessment requirements there with Act 20, as well as rightfully so parental notification guidelines and at-risk plans or intervention plans for students that may not be at grade level. We already have literacy intervention in our school district. We have several different types of literacy intervention in the district, but there's some additional requirements and at-risk plans for kids that are not at literacy grade levels, especially up to third grade. So again, more information to come from the district on Act 20. This is one data dashboard that we use each year to talk to our staff to measure internally on our key performance indicators and our continuous improvement plan, with some of the information that we really look at each year and throughout the year on are we being successful, what are some areas of growth that we need to look at, or some gaps we need to look at for programming in the Hortonville area school district in this very supportive community. So just general information for our community of our mill rate reduction the last 9 years in a row. Some of our per pupil spending from the 22-23 academic year, and the amount that was below the state average. The state average was $11,888.18, and our revenue was $10,000 per pupil. Some of the voucher expenses, our Fund 10 levy, we have a Fund 10, which is our general account. We keep that fund balance at about 28% of operating expense. There's many school districts in Wisconsin that have to short-term borrow to meet payroll that don't have a Fund 10 balance. We have a Fund 10 balance that's very responsible. We do not have to short-term borrow to meet payroll. Some districts have to do that because your revenue comes in at not the most advantageous time during your academic year, but we do not. We have a fund balance that covers that, which we believe is responsible, so you're not paying interest on meeting payroll up until when property tax revenue comes into the district. Our enrollment is increasing. Our school report card exceeds expectations or significantly exceeds expectations depending on which school in the district you're looking at. We've added career programming. Our youth apprenticeship numbers are on the rise. Our business partnerships are on the rise. The amount of students taking Fox Valley technical classes, college classes, CAP classes, their junior and senior year are increasing to hopefully help prepare them for career or college or a technical school or apprenticeship. And our engagement as far as our participation numbers and our activities is also increasing. And that's not to mention still having a focus on the whole child and the arts, and our music program is honored every year basically now, and our community support for that. So just a snapshot of what our school is doing. Again, there's opportunity, and we're a school district that believes in continuous improvement. We believe in advancing learning for every child beyond a year and a year's time. So there's more to do. There's a lot more to do, but some of the successes are displayed in this dashboard for our community.